Good morning. Today we build a secret fortress in the farming valley of our wonderful city. Welcome back to MorningCraft. So today I want to work on a secret fortress, but first there's a couple of things we're going to need to take care of. There's no real good way to enter this valley full of farms, and so it's time to upgrade this tiny little tunnel that we've been using so far. So, pickaxe in hand, I got to work on widening out this tunnel and making it a lot more inviting. Just imagine you're on your way to work on the farm, and maybe you're going to put some goats back into their pens, or you're going to be making some leather to make a weird shirt. What you don't want is to have to crawl through a tiny hole. Now you have this amazing passageway to take you on your way. And this passageway really leads on from our existing passageway underneath the mountain. You can fly down this amazing passageway with all its lights and berries. And then once you cross through the centre of town, you're greeted by a second passageway, which isn't as grand, but perhaps it could be. Maybe I'll make some tweaks to this. But before we can move on to our second build, let's go to a quick story.
Well fought and well-earned friends. The Armstrongs now control Thaldrim, and our Viking brothers will hold places of nobility in our lands. Struppy, I name you as chief builder in Thaldrim. Whatever changes you see fit to make, go ahead and make them. Make sure we're connected up to Gronskull. Phantom, I want you to contact all the other Viking tribes in the deep north of Virelda. Tell them that there is now a ruler with their interests in mind. Together we can do far more than raid and pillage. Bertram, you are now in charge of Thaldrim's defense. Prepare us for attack. I will be preparing us to attack, as the best defense is knocking the thought out of them before they try it.
So next, I came back to our builds from the last episode. I built a tanner's house and a cool windmill that I'm thinking would be a weaver. But we've got an awful lot of empty space around the edges of the valley. And so I decided to fill some of this up with some fields and some trees. And I'm hoping eventually that every single bit of hill will be covered with a field when I don't have something better to put there. Almost instantly, we can see this field come to life, and how much better it looks with its nice rows of hedges and the golden wheat. But as nice as this is, I want to do the same thing for all the sections of hill around this valley. If I mix up fields of wheat, fields of beetroot, fields of carrots, potatoes, and every other crop, I feel like this mess of green could become a patchwork of different beautiful colours. But for now, we're only going to add one more field, and then we're going to get to work on our secret fortress buried within this valley. But before we can do that, let's go to a quick story.
Well, look who it is. Welcome home, old friend, and I see you've come with Mayor Jansen of Lud again. My court says they're having a cathedral built. I suspected you'd be involved. Before I came down here, they said that the Thaldrim banner was spotted half a league from here. Soon we can all celebrate together. Desmond Later is currently manning the wall, and your friend Harlan Ironshield is watching from the west. Once the celebration is done, we can get down to finer details on strategy, find a way to handle Olaf. But it's good to see you, old friend.
So we're back, and this time it's sunset, and you can see I've added some beautiful cherry trees to this initial field, and now it's time to get to work on the second field. Just below the beginnings of our castle, we've got a little bit of empty space, and it's not really doing anything. So let's go and clean up these castle foundations with a nice field of wheat. Looking back on the edit, I added way too many panning shots of things that you've already seen. But that's a pretty cool bridge. Yeah, I'm really glad I made that bridge in that way. Which brings everything together. Could have been a bit grander, but I think it's understated enough for a farming area. I really like how peaceful it feels in these farming areas compared to the grand city over on the other valley. But just as I promised, here's another wheat field just below the castle. And this one really fills the gap between the castle and our new weaver and tanner buildings. I say it every episode, but I really like the cathedral. And so with our 2 new fields, it's time to move on to the headline build of this episode. Now that Victor Armstrong's in charge, I think he's going to be building some quite strange things. And one of those things is going to be a giant fortress nestled in the middle of the farming valley. We still don't have a name for the farming valley, so comment down below if you have any suggestions. So to build this fortress, I started by carving out a tunnel into this cave system. Why dig a hole or build walls when a cave already does that for you? And in this craggy cave is where the fortress is going to go. And they've even got some lava in here. That'll keep it warm. But I had to come to the front of the fortress and clean it up. I added a nice flat area outside and made the walls a little bit steeper as you lead up to it. I then placed in a bunch of trees and a bunch of pathways leading into the fortress. But for this to be a fortress, it would need some interesting and hard to scale walls. The kind of walls that say danger to anyone who looks at them and provide a stark contrast to the relaxing area of the farming valley. But I'm not going to show you that until after this story segment.
Armstrong?
You mean Jarl Armstrong?
Jarl Armstrong, Mornington requests that the Earl of Thaldrim attend Mornington to celebrate the coming of an heir. Not sure that applies to you, but I'm sure you'll disagree.
Protest as you will, Clara. But your safety is now guaranteed by the greatest warrior family in all of Thaldrim. Surely that is better than trusting your life to a hollow coward. Phantom, you'll be coming with me to Mornington. Clara, assist Struppy in his building endeavors. Treat him as you would treat the dog. Treachery won't be tolerated. Ah, Mornington. First time visiting seems all right. Well, Phantom, they got what they asked for. The Earl of Thaldrim is here.
So here we have it, the initial design for our fortress in the farming valley. These rough and uneven walls give good defense, but also appear a little bit crazy. But otherwise, the front of the fortress doesn't take away from the beauty of this area. Building a fortress here, of all places, is quite an abrasive and aggressive move. Why would you build something so close to war in such a peaceful place? That's exactly what Victor Armstrong would do, and it's exactly what I look forward to exploring in the next few episodes. Perhaps this is just a castle made to defend, or perhaps it contains something far, far darker. A secret weapon, perhaps. But until I can reveal that to you, I'm looking forward to sharing so many more interesting builds and stories. Hope you've had a wonderful morning, and I hope to see you in the next episode, which will be released in 2 days' time. My name is Stephen, you've been watching MorningCraft, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful morning tomorrow. And then, I hope you have a good morning even if I don't see you in the next episode. Will cry myself to sleep though. For like a good 5 days, it will really affect me. You'd be a bad person.